Welcome to AiTales, the YouTube channel where imagination and technology merge to bring you captivating stories like never before. Let's begin. The ship was sailing through the Atlantic Sea on a routine mission, and the small group of soldiers from the American Navy were ready for anything. They had been trained to face all kinds of challenges and were equipped with the latest technology to help them navigate through the treacherous waters. However, what they did not anticipate was a fierce storm that would hit them with such force that it would capsize their ship. The soldiers were thrown into the water, and they struggled to stay afloat amidst the raging waves. They clung to whatever debris they could find, hoping and praying for rescue. The storm had passed, but the sea remained choppy, and they had no idea where they were or how to get back home. The group consisted of 5 soldiers, each with their own unique skills and personalities. There was Sergeant Johnson, the no-nonsense leader who had seen his fair share of battles and knew how to keep a cool head in the toughest situations. Then there was Private Miller, the youngest of the group, who had just joined the Navy and was eager to prove himself. Corporal Lee, the seasoned veteran who had served in multiple missions, and had a wealth of knowledge and experience that was invaluable. Finally, there were Privates Wilson and Thompson, both experts in their respective fields and vital members of the team. They knew that their best chance of survival was to try and signal for help. They scoured the wreckage of the ship for any supplies they could find, including food, water, and equipment to build a raft. They worked tirelessly, using their military training and instincts to stay alive in the harsh conditions of the sea. Days turned into weeks, and the soldiers battled against hunger, thirst, and fatigue. They took turns rowing the raft, rationed their supplies carefully, and kept a watchful eye for any signs of rescue. The vast expanse of the sea seemed endless, and they began to lose hope that anyone would ever find them. But amidst the despair, they found strength in each other. They shared stories of home, their families, and their dreams for the future. They leaned on each other for support, and their camaraderie grew stronger with each passing day. Little did they know that their adventure was just beginning, and that the challenges they faced would test them in ways they could never have imagined. As the days passed, the soldiers tried to maintain their spirits, but their situation was becoming increasingly dire. They were running low on supplies, and their hopes for rescue began to fade. Each day, they scanned the horizon for any signs of other ships, but the ocean stretched out around them, vast and empty. Private Miller, the youngest member of the group, was struggling the most. He missed his family and was finding it difficult to cope with the uncertainty of their situation. Sergeant Johnson, the leader of the group, took him aside one day and tried to boost his morale. "Listen, son," he said. "I know this is tough, but we have to keep going. We have to stay strong for each other. Help will come, I promise you that. But until then, we have to stick together and do everything we can to survive." Miller nodded, tears in his eyes. He knew the sergeant was right, but it was hard to stay positive in the face of such uncertainty. As the days turned into weeks, the soldiers began to suffer from exposure and malnutrition. They were constantly wet, and the sun and salt had taken a toll on their skin. They huddled together at night, trying to stay warm and comfort each other. One morning, they woke up to find that Private Wilson was missing. They searched the raft and called out his name, but there was no answer. They searched the water around them, but there was no sign of him. They could only assume that he had fallen overboard during the night. The loss of Wilson hit the group hard, and their morale sank even lower. They were down to just 4 soldiers now, and they knew that their chances of survival were slim. But then, one day, as they were scanning the horizon as usual, they saw something in the distance. At first, they thought it was a mirage, but as it grew closer, they realized it was a ship. The soldiers began to shout and wave their arms, desperate to get the attention of the crew. The ship grew closer and closer, until finally, it was within shouting distance. The soldiers shouted and screamed, begging for help, and to their relief, they saw a rescue boat being lowered down to the water. The soldiers were lifted aboard the ship, weak and exhausted but alive. They were given food and water, and a doctor checked them over to make sure they were okay. They were told that they had been lost at sea for over a month, and that their rescue had been a stroke of luck. The soldiers were overjoyed to be alive and reunited with their families. They had been through a harrowing experience, but they had survived it together, relying on each other for support and strength. They knew that they had been lucky to make it out alive, but they also knew that they had learned valuable lessons about the power of resilience and the importance of teamwork. And that's it for today's story, brought to you by AiTales. We hope you enjoyed listening to this captivating tale brought to life by our cutting-edge AI technology. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel for more amazing storytelling videos. By subscribing, you'll never miss out on the latest tales we have to offer. Thank you for tuning in and being a part of the AiTales community. We can't wait to share more stories with you in the future.